content over everything.
When people say Sufi today, what comes to your mind?
Why don't you speak?
Can we move on this side, brothers? Come to open space because too much. With regards to Sufis, a lot of people think that Sufis are homogeneous, and today what comes to mind when people talk about Sufis is that Sufis are a bunch of innovators who worship graves, who worship saints, dead people, and X, Y, Z. But that's not true, because some of the greatest people in, for example, Indian history and Muslim history, they came from this background and they practiced tasawwuf. Tasawwuf is basically tasawwuf is like taskiyatun nafs. Okay, a lot of people actually, they follow that. And sometimes the Sufis themselves, people who were given this label Sufi, they themselves spoke against practices that were being introduced in the name of Sufism into Islam. It happened in India throughout history. There was a debate taking place in the court of Muhammad bin Tughlaq in the 13th century. We're talking about 1325. The year 1325 CE, that what the Sufi shrines, what happens there, is it actually Islamic? For example, they were debating the issue of sama', the issue of singing and dancing. Is it Islamic? And Nizamuddin Awliya, one of the most, rahmatullah alayh, one of the most famous Sufi leaders or masters in India, was there in the debate, in the discussion.
Thousands became Muslim at his hand.
Yeah, thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands.
Okay. So a lot of these discussions are taking place. So Sufis are not homogeneous. So anyone who uses the term Sufi as a term that defines a people in a particular way is simply misinformed.
You were talking about the Turks. There were a lot of them were Sufi as well.
Yes. Ottomans there, because the times. When did the Ottomans come to power? 1299 CE is the date a lot of historians give to the rise of the Ottomans. The first Ottoman leader, the first Ottoman conqueror, Osman. This is where the word Ottomans comes from, Uthmaniyin, because the leader was the first person, was Uthman. And this was the same time Rumi was very close to this period. Rumi lived in the mid 13th century.
Have you seen Ertugrul?
Huh?
Ertugrul, Netflix, watch it everyone.
Ertugrul, no, I haven't.
He's got Ibn Arabi in it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it talks about wisdom and how the Ottomans used to have original kind of sheikhs that went on them with on battles. So when they conquered Constantinople, they would have a Sufi sheikh that accompanied Sheikh Mohammed.
This is how it was.
And we're talking about Somalia as well. There were Somali Sufis as well.
Sayyid Muhammad Abdullah Hassan.
Sayyid Muhammad
He was the one that fought against the colonials. And the first air campaign ever in human history where the Air Force led the war was in Somalia.
But then again, what happened later on? How did this notion of Sufism become divided? How did we get? Sorry, no, because Sufis, they started to do different things in different places. For example, some Sufis they went into a different kind of mysticism. They started bringing non-Islamic ideas into Islam, and this is when some of the Sufi leaders in India, people like Sheikh Ahmad Sarindi,
was he a Sufi?
Was he a Naqshbandi? He was the founder of Naqshbandi school in India.
Criticized Sufis themselves.
Of course, he was criticizing Sufis for introducing non-Islamic ideas into Islam or into Sufism or Islamic practices. Shah Waliullah, who was also Sufi, who wrote against people who go to graves and ask for guidance or ask for provisions from the dead people in the grave. Shah Waliullah wrote against that. There is a book written by him called Al-Balagh al-Mubin. In Al-Balagh al-Mubin, he actually condemned these non-Islamic practices. He went as far as to call such people guilty of subtle shirk.
No, the Brelvis will disagree with you on that.
Of course, the Brelvis disagree with Shah Waliullah.
No, they don't.
They don't.
They love Shah Waliullah.
But because they don't know him. They don't read his books. Anyone who reads his books. Okay.
I know he was influenced when he went to Saudi Arabia. He was influenced by Ibn Taymiyyah.
All his teachers, all his teachers are Sufis. All his teachers are Sufis. Even Sheikh Abu Tahir al-Kurdi, his teacher, Sufi. the people he studied with in Hijaz at the time was heavily influenced by Sufism. Even the muhaddithin, people who were teaching in Hijaz at the time, were influenced by Ottomans. The Ottomans were governing Hijaz at the time. So he was not influenced by Ibn Taymiyyah. He adopted some of the ideas of Ibn Taymiyyah, having studied him. Because Shah Waliullah was not a bigot. He was not just one of those.
He was an academic.
Absolutely. He was very, very deep into his studies. So he adopted ideas from Ibn Taymiyyah, from Ibn al-Qayyim. Okay. There is no evidence that he ever met Sheikh Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab. There's no evidence, right? But what he did in India was very similar to what Sheikh Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab was doing, although he went a different way. He started changing things militarily. Shah Waliullah had actually written similar theories in his books like Hujjatullah al-Baligha and Izalatul Khifa. So his theory of governing is in his books.
Why do you think Sufis get so much hate nowadays? Because I see now we're seeing, like, for example, in the Middle East, they're getting killed off. And a lot of people say the Shia, but it's actually Sufis that get killed. Sheikh Ramadan al-Buti, rahimahullah, he was blown up by some, I'm not going to go into that, it's political, but he was blown up. We're getting, like, Sufis, some of the Ba'alawis, there was a 90-year-old Mashayikh, he was 90 years old, Ba'alawi, he was killed just because he was a Sufi. In Egypt, we had
I think
500...
when political events happen, when there is political disturbance, there are victims from all sides.
What about Ali
It's not
Jum'ah?
only...
Do you support Ali Jum'ah?
No, it's...
I love Sheikh Ali. Sheikh Ali
He gave
Goma.
fatwa to shoot. He gave fatwa shoot for death.
shoot to death
Yes.
to the protesters.
No, but we're talking about Sufism, bro. Yeah, we're listening to the
One
topic.
you are proud of?
No, we're
But
talking about
Sufis-
Sufism, but Sufism is not homogeneous.
No, Sufis
That's the point we're
Somalia,
making.
they are a military group
It's-
now.
yeah.
In Somalia,
Yeah, they're fighting as shown now.
No, so because this would be a mistake. To put Sufis in one box and treat them
In Somalia,
as
they're
one
military
thing
Yeah.
is wrong.
Yeah.
There are categories of Sufis, right? There are extreme categories of Sufis. There are moderate categories of Sufis. There are Sufis who are very Sharia compliant. There are Sufis who are not Sharia compliant. Likewise, there are so-called Wahhabis who are very Sharia compliant, and there are those Wahhabis, so-called, who are not Sharia compliant. So this idea that you people put in one box and judge them with one fatwa is misplaced.
Where I do, I believe
Misinformed.
anyone that says La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah, the Muslim.
Yes,
So
the
for me,
assumption is they're Muslim.
I
Yes,
don't-
unless they do something against Islam.
And I've spoken out against Wahhabis or Salafis and stuff, but I consider someone like you, like my Ustad. I listen to you, I'll sit down with you, I watch all your lectures, I love you, do you know what I mean? Similarly with Sufi, some of them are amazing teachers there. Some of the Shias, you can learn some of the stuff academically and stuff. We have to, as Muslims, expand our mind.
Yes.
Not just label people and this one's a kafir and this one's
No, we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't do that. And this happens from all sides. Don't make a mistake.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Don't think the Sufis are the angels with wings landing from the heavens and there is nur around them. It doesn't work like that. You can paint anyone in positive light. You can paint anyone in a bad light. Okay, so you must deal with people as individuals, not as part of a group, because not every single individual from any particular group is actually,
Will you do a lecture about Sufism?
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind.
Remember, you heard it first. We're going to do a lecture, Sheikh Adnan. We're going to get a few other people, inshallah. We'll talk about Sufism around the world and how the group spread and how, like you said, it's not homogeneous, especially on Somalia.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a Somali day soon, inshallah.
I don't know much about Somali
Okay,
history,
we
so
got fisherman. We got Abu Talha. Abu Talha, we're going to do a Somali day, bro. We're going to hire out a mosque and we're going to get that information. But we all need to know about each other, you know what I mean?
So someone like yourself, I know you're an intelligent brother, mashallah, and as far as I can see, you're sincere, right? This approach, like for example, last week you had this, I'm sure you were angry and you were passionate, and you were saying, a lot of the time you were saying Wahhabi, 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 and that was quite offensive. It's like I would be having a bout with someone, and I kept coming out with the word Sufi, 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 all the Sufis, all the Sufis, all the Sufis. That would be wrong, right? Because you just said that you respect me and you consider me as one of those people you learn from, and vice versa. I learn from you. I learn from you. Okay, if you were to talk to me and I was to give you my my Aqidah, what I believe in. For example, my Aqidah is very close to what Ibn Taymiyyah believed, right? Or Ibn Qayyim, or even Sheikh Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab in his Aqidah. Not necessarily the way he did things in Hijaz. Maybe he made mistakes.
No, it's still cool.
There were errors, possibly, yeah? But what he was saying was correct, in my view. He was trying to purify Islam from non-Islamic practices, and I'm sure you would be on the same boat. You wouldn't want.
I just disagreed how he did it.
Yes,
and I know
that's something you can have a problem with. But if you read his books, the books of Sheikh Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab, you will not find anything in his books without substance in Sharia.
Obviously,
What
in
about
the
the
Quran.
nullifiers of the deen? It takes
Every single 10 of them.
Yeah, the
10 of them.
the first one
respect.
is fine. Anyone that associates partners.
I think it always be one more
Second
second,
and
fam.
third,
Camera's done, that's
2
all.
and 3.
What are the
I said,
problems with them?
Like, I know he's against this Behaviour.
Yes.
Yeah, and then he said anyone that associates, they're out of Islam.
No, but he doesn't mention istighatha. He mentions calling upon other than Allah is basically shirk.
Yeah, first
Yeah,
one.
we agree.
With that,
Yeah. So where he was talking about worshipping the dead. Yeah.
I know, but that's the thing. What he calls worship, most people wouldn't call worship.
Yeah, I agree. That's where the confusion comes in. A lot of people are confused. This is why a lot of the Salafi ulama, the scholars, they do not make takfir upon the people who are seen worshipping graves. For example, someone bowing, making a sajda, they don't. Apparently it's kufr. Apparently what the person is doing, bow. So you saw someone. If I bow to you, Allah forbid. Yeah, right now. Yeah, like people bow to Tayrul Qadri and other Sufi, sheikhs. Yeah, which is absolutely haram in Islam.
Kissing the feet, I've heard that there's a hadith where
Kissing the feet is different.
Yeah.
Completely different. You give the benefit of the
Bowing,
doubt.
bowing.
Yeah, someone who is making the gesture of sajda, someone who's at a distance.
That's
like,
cool for that. Yeah.
I've seen Tayrul Qadri on video sitting at a distance, and a man comes in front of him, falls in sajda, and Tayrul Qadri is sitting. Yeah, that's apparently that's right. So some of the Sufi scholars, they need to come out and they need to correct that this is not Islam. This is not what the Prophet came for. The Prophet ﷺ came for to correct people, not to worship other than Allah.
In the subcontinent, Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, ignorance is right. I mean, we've both been there. Like, we see it, especially in the village, all these peers that take advantage of things and stuff. Not all of them, some of them are decent people, but generally speaking, when you've got those leaders and then they give bay'ah and then suddenly they're spiritual leaders.
But do you see the point? Do you see the standpoint of so-called Wahhabi scholars, or call them Salafi scholars? Do you see that they're concerned? Their concerns are valid because they believe such practices lead to other evil acts that possibly or potentially can take one out of Islam. Okay, so that's why they're so concerned. That's why they're so adamant at preventing people from going to shrines and doing all these things. Okay, you want to go to the shrine? There are etiquettes. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has taught us how to visit graves. What do you say? How do you pray? We have instructions, direct instructions from the Prophet as to how you behave in certain places at certain times. How do you behave with your parents? How do you behave with the dead? How do you treat the dead? How do you treat the living? How do you treat a camel? How do you treat animals? Every single thing is clear. And this is what these so-called Salafi scholars are saying, that why don't we listen to the Prophet ﷺ? Why don't we stick to his way and not follow X, Y, and Z teachers?
Scholars like yourself are fine, but there's some scholars who call that person a kafir. They've left Islam, and therefore their blood, their women, their property becomes
This is absolute falsehood. I'm saying it on camera. This is absolute falsehood. Anyone who doesn't give another Muslim the benefit of the doubt, or udhr bil jahal, what we call in the Arabic language, udhr bil jahal, benefit of being ignorant. Okay, someone who's ignorant, and you have to go a mile to excuse Muslims, right? And educate them, teach them. And if they still insist, having learnt, if they still insist on doing what they do, then you can apply a fatwa. And fatwa is the job of the Mufti, who has to be qualified, who has to, not Mufti Abu Layth, by the way. I'm sorry. I know he might be your friend.
I don't agree with him in everything. I don't agree with him.
He might be your friend, but he's saying a lot of stuff nowadays recently, which makes people laugh at him. Okay, he wants to be a joker. That's his choice. He's in Britain. Britain's an open society. People can say what they want, and they can come across as
see him with me in Birmingham.
I would love to, but having watched his videos and his discussions, all he does is Da'if, ha 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 ha.
No.
Da'if, ha ha. How can you talk?
He had to get that jua, you know that Muhammad Hussein. He does look like a jua. Like jua means mouse, yeah. He was going around saying this, that, the other. Oh, astaghfirullah, brother. You know how some Salafi brothers they guilt trip people and stuff. Yeah, now I'm gonna get a lot of hate, yeah. But they do. They make Islam hard for people. And
someone like me watching Abu Layth or Naheem. His name is Naheem. Naeem or Naheem?
No, I think his name.
He spells it like Naheem. I'm watching someone like that, and I see a joker. Okay, look, Mufti is a very honorable title. It means a man who gives religious rulings. And in order to give religious rulings, Mufti is not a certificate you put on the wall. You can have 50 certificates from 50 different institutions of being a Mufti. But Mufti is actually a state of being. Do you agree? It's a state of being.
I feel he covers for Britain. He brings the British banter, and I love the way that his opinions are different.
Call yourself.
But he's got loads of non-Muslims that have come back to Islam.
Call yourself Joe Block. Call yourself Joe Block and crack jokes. You want to be a joker, comedian. There are plenty of comedians in Britain. No one has an issue with the comedian. But if you want to call yourself Allama, Al-Sheikh, Al-Mufti, Al-Ahmaq, something like that, that I am Allama, using Islamic titles, Imam Joker, for example. If you call yourself Imam Joker or Imam Comedian or something like that, it doesn't work like that.
We've got enough serious religious people, let's be honest.
Of course.
We need that. In Britain, we need people that are don't just judgmental.
Yes.
Like, I'll give you an example.
I agree.
There's a sister here that didn't wear hijab, She absolutely ripped Godwin, or I think it was last week, or Daniel, ripped him to part. And then one person's wrote martial art. Then it was like, oh, she's not wearing hijab. How dare you stand next to sisters shouldn't be speaking. Oh, he was in. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No one focuses on that.
No.
Like, do you know what I mean? And then you got religious people that some of their opinions are retarded.
I see. You see, I believe to be lively, to be happy, to come across as pleasant, you don't have to compromise your religion. You don't have to water down your religion. Mufti Menk is a well-known Muslim personality. He's so funny.
It's not that
No, he's very funny, trust me. The reason, and he's Mufti amazingly. He has a title attached to his name, Mufti. And when you look at him, you think this guy is actually a Mufti. Okay, he's got the religious attire, he's got the religious demeanor, he's got the religious manners. Okay, he doesn't look like Fido Dido. You remember Fido Dido? Or Fido Dido? What was it called? This character, the yo-yo. Sorry, Fido Dido with the spiky hair. Or what's that? Street Fighter character. Guile. What did you used to do? Sonic Boom.
But he's from Birmingham.
Okay.
He's from Birmingham. They have funny haircuts there.
That's fine. If you want to call
that back.
Look,
if
you call yourself a Mufti, then look like a Mufti, man. I'll give you an example. You go to a hospital for kidney surgery, and a guy walks in, who has, I don't have anything against people with tattoos, right? A guy walks in with, have you seen those people from New Zealand? What are they called? Maori people, and they have tattoos on their faces like this. Half the face is the tattoo, and someone like that walks with big muscles with 2 knives. Someone walks in like that, The first thing hold a second, is this guy performing the surgery on me? Yes, he is the surgeon. I don't want him. Because the way he looks, right? A surgeon has to look the game, right? He has to look the part. He has to look like a surgeon. If you call yourself a Mufti, right? Or if you, for example, if you have a football match and a guy walks in with a big belly, and he can't even run, or someone, So when you claim a title, you have to look at, right?
Sheikh Adnan, you do know he's going to go in on your Monday nights now. Mufti, allow him, please.
No.
Because he will cuss him.
I don't have against. I'm not cussing him. I'm not.
That's
cussing
it. He's not.
I wish him the best of both lives. I wish him the best of both lives. I wish him that may Allah make him a beneficial person for this ummah and other people around the world. Okay, I wish him the best. Okay, the point I'm making is.
But do you think Islam, like, for example, I'm a British Muslim, yeah, I identify like that. I don't like, and there's people, oh bro, you can't be British Muslim. Are you British more? Are you Muslim? Don't ask me stupid questions, yeah. Like, I'm British Muslim. That's it. I'm a man. I'm a mammal. Do you know what I mean? Don't ask me things like that.
Yeah,
That's it. But the reality is that there's a lot of Muslims here that Islam, it's not relevant for the general masses. Most of the people don't pray 5 times a day. We're failing to connect. Some of our backward fatwas that have come years ago from the subcontinent or Arabia and stuff, you know, we need to make Islam relevant to the general masses.
I agree 100% that Islam needs to be explained in a way that the generations alive today can actually relate to it, right? And it's a beautiful faith, and it's a very, very flexible faith. Without changing Islam, without changing any rule from Islam, anything from Islam, even a dot, we can explain Islam in a beautiful fashion to the masses, to the youth, and to the people out there who want to understand. I believe Islam is the most rational human philosophy to live by. It is the most beneficial human philosophy to live by. I believe Islam is the most beneficial philosophy for mankind to follow. Why? I have my reasons. Okay, do a comparison between Islam and other philosophies invented by humans and see, Islam is not invented by humans. That's why I believe it's superior. Not superior in the sense that it should give us pride or arrogance, rather superior in the sense that I feel it's better. It is better than other philosophies to live by. I believe, I'm going to go a step further. I'm going to go a step further and say, even if God did not exist, and I'm saying A'udhu Billah, I'm a firm believer in God. I believe God exists and I have no doubts on that point. I do not doubt that. But if any objective person, any objective researcher, any objective searcher was to look into Islam objectively, do a comparison with other philosophies, other systems or other ways of life, one would find Islam to be the most civilized, the most positive, the most progressive way of life to live by, even if God didn't exist. Okay, Islam would still win as a philosophy if a comparison was done between Islam, communism, capitalism, liberalism, or all the other isms or schisms. Okay, Islam would stand alone as a unique way of life to lead humanity into happiness. What does Islam teach? Islam has beautiful teachings, right? We don't need to change Islam. We don't need Mufti Abu Layth's or Majid Nawaz's or Tariq Fatah's or no. These are some people.
No, you can't put Mufti Abu Layth in the same category as like Majid Nawaz. That's complete. Mufti Abu Layth brings opinions. There might be minority opinions, but they're from within the Sheikh. So he recently did a talk with
I think I'm going to come to him later on. Let me talk very quickly about Islam. Why I believe Islam is a beautiful way of life. If followed correctly, if followed properly, it leads to a beautiful character. If you listen to the Prophet's teaching, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said smiling is an act of charity. Look how beautiful this teaching is. He said smiling is an act of charity. Give charity even if it's as little as a date, half a date. How big is a date? It's a little fruit. Give charity. The Prophet ﷺ said, do not overburden your animals. They are creatures of God. Do not overburden them. The Prophet taught that paradise is under the feet of your mothers. The Prophet taught the best of you are those who are best to their families, the best to their wives. And the Prophet taught about children, man la yarham la yurham, the one who does not have mercy on children will not be shown mercy on the day of judgment. The Prophet taught about environment, cleanliness. He taught with every single prayer 5 times a day. This is the hygiene a man sitting in the middle of the Arabian desert in the 7th century is teaching to his companions.
We're supposed to look nice, aren't we? Smell nice, look
we
nice.
We need to
some
look
ugly
nice.
Muslims out there.
Yeah, no.
No, it's true though. Let's speak facts.
There are some ugly non-Muslims out there.
That's true.
There are some ugly atheists out there. There are some beautiful atheists out there. There's some beautiful Christians out there. So there are some beautiful Muslims out there. Look, my advice is to look for the beautiful ones. when you go out shopping,
I think you should clear that up because you know some haram.
No, as they say, the beauty. As they say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Oh,
okay. When you go to Tesco to buy a vegetable, you don't go for the rotten ones.
Yeah, it's true.
You're not looking for the rotten ones. Oh, let me find the rotten potatoes and rotten vegetables. So then you go for the nice ones. You go the nice. So likewise, when you go out looking for people, or you want to talk to people, or you want to see two representatives of a religion, of an ideology, look for the nice ones. Don't look for the rotten ones. What happens is when you look for the rotten ones, then that's the view you form about that particular faith or that particular ideology. There are plenty of beautiful examples of Muslims or Islam. Go for them. Talk to them. Plenty of beautiful examples of Sufis, plenty of beautiful examples of Wahhabis, plenty of beautiful examples of Salafis and Shias. There are some very nice Shias I've met, very nice gentlemen. You know, I like talking to them. I may disagree. I disagree with their theology. I disagree with their view on God. But
why don't you give them a very bad name here?
Yes. Some people can give you bad names. So coming back to again. Coming back to Mufti Abu Layth and people like him. And I don't know why he's doing what he's doing, because being learned, I know he's learned. He knows the Arabic language. He has read the classical works, and having had that knowledge, and he insinuates that weed is somehow acceptable. Okay, sometimes you need to use your common sense. There's some person who may look very.
Like weed?
I don't like weed because it messes your brain up.
I agree.
Okay, we don't need a fatwa from a mufti to tell us that smoking is haram. Smoking is bad for your health, because on every single pack, on every single cigarette pack, bad. Anything unnatural going into your system is bad. Unnatural. When I say unnatural, okay, I believe it's haram.
Yeah, but there's a difference.
No, smoking is haram, not because I need a mufti for it. I don't need a mufti to tell me that smoking is haram. I look at the cigarette packet. On the packet it says it's poison, don't drink it.
But it's makruh, isn't it? Like some people say there's a difference of opinion. There is a difference.
No.
There's good stories.
Your opinion is haram.
No,
you're not mufti.
No, I'll tell you something.
Come on, man. There's loads of smokers out there.
And I believe it's haram. I believe smoking. No. Smoking, I believe, is not allowed in Islam because it is harmful. It is. You go to any medical practitioner, you go to any doctor in the world, go to researchers, they will tell you smoking harms your health. If it harms your health, it is not allowed. I don't care what some mufti says in Zanzibar or in South Africa or somewhere else. I don't care what they say. I know it is bad for your health. It is haram. Okay? And proportionally, one cigarette can cause more, because some people bring the argument meat is bad for you, potato is bad for you, but proportionally it's not. If you have, for example, an X amount of meat every month, it doesn't harm you. But if you smoke one cigarette, the harm it has proportionally, by looking at the size of the cigarette and the intake you have, it is haram. So again, coming back to the point, look for good examples, and when you want to learn Islam, like beautiful brothers like yourself, don't go to dodgy characters. There are giants.
My main teacher is Sheikh Hamza Yusuf. Okay. And then my second teacher is, people want to know this, Sheikh Asabek. I love Sheikh Asabek.
Okay. Why do you love him? Is it because of his knowledge or his demeanor?
I love his knowledge. I love the things that he comes out. I love his early history, especially with the Hanafi fiqh. But I still learn from everyone. So, for example,
but do you know,
Shamsi, for example,
but do you know,
I'm going to sit down with Shamsi in a few weeks. I'm going to his mosque, and I might have said something.
But do you know most Hanafi scholars actually have disowned it?
Who's that?
Atabek.
The modern Hanafis, yeah.
No. Classical Hanafis. Classical Hanafis have disowned him because he is coming up with things that cannot be. Believe me.
Which classical?
Go to the Deobandi scholar, Mufti.
Taqi Osmani.
No. They're Hanafis.
I think Taqi Osmani he said something about wiping is alright.
No.
He's got a subcontinent. If he's got a subcontinent view, Sheikh Taqi Osmani is I don't like him. It's not for me.
Yeah, he's great. He's a great scholar.
No, he's got knowledge.
No, look. You just used something against Taqi Osmani. You said he has this opinion. Let's assume he has it. Yes. I don't believe he does. You have misunderstood him. Okay. Let's assume he does have that opinion. But then you have someone else on the side who appears to be legalizing weed. Abu Layth, okay, Sheikh Atabek, for example, is
amazing scholar, Hanafi scholar. It's not easy to understand all the time. Sometimes his English inhibits him, but his critical mind, he's a pure academic, and he studied with all the. He studied with Sheikh Uthaymeen even. You know, like he went, stayed in the desert, waiting for Sheikh Uthaymeen. He was a student of Sheikh Uthaymeen. He studied with the Salafis. He studied with Deobandis, Brelvis, Sufis, and he's the one that said to me, "You have to learn from everyone."
My advice is, as a Muslim, again, when you want to learn from the best. The best. Okay, no, you have to travel for that. Don't. When you want to learn kung fu, you go. You will go to. You choose. When you want to get married, you choose the most beautiful woman for yourself, or the one who is most pleasing to you, right? When you want to buy a car, you go and buy the best car in your budget, right? When you want to learn Islam, why do you go to these people? Why do you go to these people? Go to the best. The best are dead. Pick up the books, learn the Arabic language, start reading the classical sources. Your mind will be blown away in a positive way. Your mind will be, the geniuses we have in our history. People, whatever you want to read. Philosophy, Imam Ghazali, you're not going to beat him. Okay? Theology, Ibn Taymiyyah. Hadith, Ibn al-Hajar. Okay? Tasawwuf, Ibn al-Qayyim. And others.
I'm from the Hanafi.
No problem. Then Hanafi doesn't mean that you don't read others.
Absolutely.
It does. Hanafi doesn't mean that you put yourself in a cage.
I love obviously Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Hassan Shaybani, Abu Yusuf, Abu Zufar.
Read the books.
I read their books.
Have you read Kitab al-Khiraj?
I love what you're talking about. We're talking about Sheikh Waliullah.
Shah Waliullah, absolutely.
Amazing, but he's got loads of diverse opinions and he kept on changing.
No, he didn't keep on changing. He changed his views in the light of hadith. When he found authentic reports from the Prophet and they could not be compromised or they could not be reconciled with the school, he left the school and he followed the hadith.
I went to a lecture in Ibrahim College last year, and there was a lady professor from Chicago, and she was talking about this as well.
Right.
So she was talking about how Shah Waliullah.
Marcia. Yeah. No, I wasn't there, but I've read her work. She's amazing. She's absolutely amazing. And she's an expert on Shah Waliullah.
Yes.
And what did she say about Shah Waliullah?
Talking about how his opinion changed, how it went from spiritualization.
Of course.
And then she talked about Shah Waliullah, the Sufi, that a lot of people haven't really explored yet.
Yes. Shah Waliullah went through a huge transition in his life. Okay, when he was 30 years old, his own followers, Sheikh Ashik Pulati, who was one of his followers and one of his cousins as well, if I'm not mistaken, he himself stated, because he traveled with him to Hajj in 1731, Shah Waliullah went for Hajj. Okay, and he stayed in Hijaz for nearly 14 months. Then he returned to India. Sheikh Ashik Pulati states that Waliullah was a completely changed man because the knowledge he acquired in Hijaz was something new to him. He didn't have that knowledge, right? And that changed his approach. He became became a completely different person, and his approach became a lot more informed, nuanced, and his writings after he came back from Hijaz are a lot more thorough and deep than what he wrote before when he was a young man.
Railways love him, the Deobandis and the Al-Hadith. So for example, like Sheikh Khalid Hussain from Leicester is one of my teachers. He loves Shah, they all praise him. So for example, we do Khatam on Thursdays, yeah, where we believe the souls.
So my advice is,
Allah said that's
do you have any doubts that he was a balanced person?
I believe he was a very balanced
Read his
person.
books.
I love his books. I do
Read the translation of Marcia.
I'm reading that now.
The decisive argument from God, Hujjatullah al-Baligha. Read it. So instead of going to X, Y, and Z, and I'm telling that to myself, instead of going to Tom, Dicks, and Harry's, funny-looking people or funny-behaving people to learn Islam, to learn Islam, go to the giants, go to the real people who lived Islam, who were an embodiment of Islam.
We've got British problems now. For example, organ donation. For example, this,
but for that you don't.
So when I go back, those questions aren't asked. We've got British problems.
No. Every single thing is answered.
It's not.
Islam Q&A. Go, check.
Islam Q&A.
Give me a question.
Alright, is organ donation allowed?
Okay, scholars are divided. Scholars of Islam are divided. Organ donation, okay, one group of scholars says that mutilating bodies, dead bodies, is not allowed in Islam. So by that principle, organ donation is actually mutilating the body, right? Other scholars reasonably argue that if someone's life can be saved, right, by organ donation, and if the person permits before dying that my organs can be donated to save someone's life, there's nothing wrong with that, because that's his property, that's his belonging, so he's giving it to someone else, and both arguments are valid. What's the problem? So if one group starts to saying, you bunch of hypocrites, you liars, you have this erroneous opinion, this is not Islam. In Islam, we are tolerant, we are generous to each other. If someone has an opinion, as long as it is a valid opinion and not a wild opinion, a valid opinion, we respect it.
So shisha, I smoke shisha occasionally on edge.
I believe it's haram. There are others who say it's not haram.
Haram is such a hard thing.
Yeah, no problem.
It's like
that's an opinion, but that's a valid opinion.
No,
because how do scholars base their opinions? How do they reach opinions? They reach conclusions by looking at the pros and cons.
Yeah, but traditionally they wouldn't say haram. There's 5 levels, aren't there? There's obviously halal, then there's permissible, then there's
and anything that leads to harm
What's that?
or greater harm, that thing is forbidden even in minimum amount. For example, alcohol. Okay, what is haram? إنما الخمر والميسر والأنصاب والأزلام رجس من عمل الشيطان فاجتنبوه لعلكم تفلحون. That wine, not wine in particular, intoxicants.
Yes.
Allah used the word intoxicants in the Quran. They are the works of shaitan. They are the works of devil. Abstain from them. Now one can turn around and argue, hold on a second, intoxicants, when they intoxicate, but if I drink a little bit of wine, or if I have a spliff of weed, or if I have a joint, what do you call a joint? Yeah, nowadays they call it a joint, huh? A joint, yeah, of course. I've never.
I think you secretly smoke, you know.
No, I don't. I've never smoked. Alhamdulillah, Allah protected me from it. Yeah.
Alright, let me ask you.
Sorry.
Shaking hands of women in the office place, yeah?
Okay.
A lot of people say haram. I shook those Californian girls. Do you know how much hate I got for shaking their hands?
No, okay, look.
And is there a difference of opinion on that?
No. Again, there are scholars who take a view on that. We don't agree with them. Like Yusuf Qardawi. With respect, Sheikh Ali Juma, I wouldn't accept him as a valid source in a discussion. Because of his recent opinions. Sometimes some of the things he has, either he's forced to say what he's saying. If he's forced, then he's excused.
But
if he's saying those things in his right mind, that when he gave the Sisi government an open fatwa to go and kill anyone you like. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. But I'm saying that if someone has that opinion, okay,
shaking a woman's hand.
yeah. If someone has that opinion, I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it. But if someone has that opinion, okay, let him have that
I was
opinion.
called a kafir in the comment section.
No.
Kafir, haram. You're disobeying the hadith. And they'll throw the hadith at you.
No,
But it's not that simple.
this is why. Yeah, they're wrong for doing that.
Yeah.
They're absolutely wrong. These people, look, don't take hundreds of these people out there online seriously, because some of them have no life.
Yeah, of course.
Some of them
use 5
all
or
they
6
do
accounts.
is they live on the laptop, okay, and all they do is spread hate and negativity, right? So if you will let those people govern your life, you're dead, you're finished. You might as well commit suicide.
So you don't
because
think it's
there is
alright?
so much hate out there, like this content over everything, this channel. Yeah, go and look at the comments.
Content over everything.
It's like
knowledge from scholars from book to scholar, not from book, not internet, not from book.
yeah,
But the
real.
scholars, what I'm saying is the scholars in Islam have had a plethora of views on all sorts of
Yes, and we
within the
respect them. We respect them. Those who have the credential and the behavior and the demeanor.
Well, who defines behavior?
And the behavior is someone is if someone says I'm a mufti, or let me go and attend that orgy. A'udhu billah.
No, he's never attended.
Or let me go to the club. Let me go to the club. You want if you go.
But you don't talk about Mufti,
Okay,
are you?
no, I'm not
Mufti
talking
Abul.
I'm not talking about him.
He's never done it.
I'm saying generally, you go to a scholar for a religious ruling, and he's having a pint,
Well, me, man.
or he's drinking Heineken, or he's got Budweiser. Is it called Budweiser?
It's not scholar.
No, he goes, hold on a second, let me finish this and then I'll respond. If you are
of course.
if you are someone stable in the mind, this guy is not a scholar. He's not even practicing his knowledge. I don't want fatwa from him, right? This is what I'm saying.
I think Muslims are too judgmental.
No.
honest.
Muslims are not judgmental. Muslims are not judgmental. Those who are informed are not judgmental. They are reasonable. So if they see something, if it looks like a duck, and if it quacks like a duck, then it is a duck, right? So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So if you don't blame a Muslim for calling a duck a duck.
But aren't some of them
Right.
hyper? Like they're just so. Some like, oh my God, astaghfirullah.
Some have
do that.
some people who come to Islam and they're new. No, wait, let me explain.
We've got some retards.
That phenomenon.
We have got some retards.
No, that phenomena.
We
I'll
have
tell you what.
bare retards.
No,
in the Muslim
listen.
And the ones that love to throw their authority around and power trip.
Waqar, this is a human phenomena. When humans start to do something anew, when you get married to a woman, you're very excited. She is the love of your life. She is everything. No. In most cases, 6 months. 6 months later, you think, oh my God, what have I done? What have I done? Huh? Right?
Give me another one.
This is like with Islam. People come into Islam. They start practicing, and within 5 days, they want to turn the whole world into a Sharia compliant space where everyone has to comply by your rules. We don't live in a world like that, and Islam doesn't want. Even the Prophet warned us about this behavior. Our Prophet taught us how to behave. He warned us that Islam will either overpower you or you will overpower it. Okay? What did he mean by that? Some people become extreme, because they become a bit righteous. They start practicing. They start to gun every single person down around them. Oh, you're not like me. You don't have the beard like me. You don't wear hijab like me. You don't pray like me. Therefore, you are not worthy of attention. You are not worthy of any praise or any respect.
And it chases people out of Islam.
Yeah. So we are not. Islam is a balanced way of life. If it doesn't make you bad, if Islam does not polish your character, I'm being very clear about it. If Islam does not make your character better, if it doesn't make you a pleasant human being, if it doesn't polish your character, then you are not following Islam.
It's true.
Then you have not actually internalized Islam, because Islam should have an effect on your character, that you become a pleasant person, you become a fair person, you become a balanced person, you're not repulsive, you're not repugnant, you're not you're not a negative person generally. You look
Positive.
at good. You got to be progressive.
I heard it's
be
a fine to be positive.
Yes, think positively.
And we shouldn't hate people.
Husnul dhan. this is again taught by our
That's
Prophet
a
to
Sunni,
us.
that's a Sunni
Yeah,
thing, isn't
yeah, no, that's a Muslim thing. That's a Muslim
Some
thing.
of the Shias don't have it. No.
About the Sahaba.
Yeah, exactly. So
no,
that's, I heard that's a big difference.
But then
that's
again, there's a problem. They're not following the Prophet.
Yeah.
The Prophet said, have a good opinion of others. Until or unless you see clear-cut evidence to suggest otherwise. Have a good opinion of people.
Even
if someone gives
even,
you evidence...
Even non-Muslims.
Yes, non-Muslims. Absolutely. Have a good opinion of them. Okay. If they give you evidence to suggest otherwise, to believe otherwise, then you have grounds to believe what you believe, right? But generally, a Muslim is a pleasant... Even our Prophet ﷺ, how did he behave in disagreements? A man came to him and spoke to him so rudely. Did he respond rudely? His enemies came to him. He left his spot to honor them. Subhanallah. So because of one of the people, Thumama, he was a captive of war. He was put in front of the Prophet, and the Prophet spoke to him. He went to speak to him and he said, I don't want to look at your face. Your face, A'udhu Billah, is the worst face on the planet. He said that to the Prophet in front of his companions, people who would die for the Prophet. And some of them they wanted to kill Thumama. They said, okay, how can you talk to a Prophet? And he stopped them. He said, leave him. 3 days the Prophet went back to him. He said, Thumama, talk to me. And Thumama said, I don't want to look at your face. And then the Prophet, the third day, he said, let him go. Open his ropes, let him go. And when he did that, Thumama runs out of Medina. And then he goes out there and he thinks, hold on a second, I was saying such disgusting things to this man, and this is how he treats me, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He came back running and he said, you know what? No questions. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. That only your Prophet can have that patience. Only someone who's inspired by God can have that patience. Normal people cannot have that patience.
And there was a man that took a leak in the mosque, right?
Yeah. Subhanallah. That's such a beautiful example. A man, he came. Today, I'm asking the Muslims, these pious, self-righteous, beautiful Muslims, great Muslims. Yeah. If you saw a person urinating in the masjid on the carpet, what would you do with him?
Bang him.
No.
Bang him out.
You would at least reprimand him, rebuke him, or you would grab him and take him out of the masjid. Or you would think a man came in front of the Prophet, urinated in the masjid, and the companions had the same reaction. They went towards him, and the Prophet, leave him, let him relieve himself.
So he actually finished.
And he finished. After finishing, he walked away, and the Prophet said, go and pour water over it. Wash it. That's it. Don't leave the man alone. This is the manner.
And then he explained to the man that you don't do this in the mosque.
Yes.
It's your sacred place.
So, yes, exactly.
What about the drunk Sahabi? Have you heard of?
Yeah, Abu Mahjan. Yani one of the Sahaba.
Nu'iman.
Okay, I don't know if we're talking about the same person. There was a drunk Sahabi, and the Prophet ﷺ, he was punished for his drinking, because drinking was not allowed in Islamic society at that time. Sorry? No, I don't know.
No, he's Nu'iman. He used to drink.
I don't know. I don't remember the name. And then some of the people rebuked him for doing this. And the Prophet said, don't rebuke him. He loves me. He loves Allah and His Messenger. Yeah, leave, even though he's a drunkard. Leave him. So this is the character of Rasulullah ﷺ. This is, yes, okay.
And they said that he influenced the jesters. You know the jester culture?
Okay.
In the Ottoman Empire.
So what we need to do is, we need to educate people about our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and we need to educate the Muslims about his behavior, his manners, so that we can follow. If, again, to emphasize the point, if Islam does not reform your character for the better, if you do not become a better person, if you don't become a pleasant person, you don't become even well-mannered in your behavior, then Islam has not benefited you. You're not following Islam. You're ignoring Islam. You think you are following Islam, but you are actually ignoring the teachings of Islam. Simple.
What about British values? Just finishing off, the British values and some of the British kind of culture, it's very compatible with Islam, I would argue. Thank you, goodbye, please.
Absolutely. Some of the British people,
Some
of the English people I've met, Okay, they have beautiful manners.
Yes.
Absolutely beautiful manners. I actually believe sometimes that this is a Muslim without Islam.
Yeah, 100%.
Some of their behavior, some of how they treat others, how they respect others. I mean, I've been treated with a lot of respect. There are exceptions in every single society. There are good and bad in every single society. But there are some people out there, things people deem British or English, some of them are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Greeting others, being hospitable, being helpful, being tolerance, generosity. British people have been very generous with Muslims. Muslims have been given a home in Britain. We have lived here for the last 50 years, built mosques, did art worship. Muslims are possibly more free in Britain than most Muslim countries. I'm saying most Muslim countries. Yes, there is freedom here, and we love it, and we love. So there are people out there who think we don't appreciate it. We appreciate it. Britain, I'm an immigrant. I came to this country in 1997. Okay, as a young man, and I benefited from the country. I studied here. I got my education here. I got my children are here, they were raised here, they're British. They are more British than Pakistani. They cannot relate to Pakistan. When I take my children to Pakistan, they think, well, can we go back? Can we go back, please? Huh? Yeah. Can we go? Because they can't take the system there, the culture is different. So they feel more British, and there are beautiful things about Britain, and we really appreciate those things. Now, having said that, that doesn't mean that we agree with what the government is doing around the world. We don't. Many British people, because they are moral people, they don't agree with what the government is doing. Yeah. So there is a balanced view,
we have a
and
right
we need
to
to
speak
cherish.
up as citizens, as British citizens. We have absolutely a right.
Yes.
Just because we're brown or we're black, we shouldn't be seen as any lesser for having an opinion.
Yes.
Which is sometimes as a British Muslim how I feel sometimes.
Yes, I think, and this is why we need to talk to the British people more. There are many decent British people out there. I'm saying the majority, if the Muslims talk to them and explain to them that we actually love Britain, we love being here, we cherish being here, we love the tolerance and the generosity and the beautiful things about this country, and we are like you, as human as you are. Okay, we may have different religions, we may have different views on God, right? But that shouldn't divide us. So we are on the same planet, in the same country, in the same neighborhood. We need to live together in harmony. And there are some people out there, amazingly, they have the audacity to suggest that what I'm saying right now is taqiyya. This is a big problem with Tommy Robinson followers or people who have been influenced by the right wing. We don't do taqiyya.
Can you tell us what taqiyya means in Punjabi?
It's in Punjabi.
It's a cushion, isn't it?
Cushion.
Yeah, taqiyya?
No, that's something else. That's something else. This is with calf.
It's a joke, man. Relax.
This is with
you
calf.
self-righteous Muslim.
No, that's calf. This is calf. Taqiyya.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know.
Now some Islam haters who have an agenda, people who make money out of Islam hating, people who make money out of spreading hatred against Islam and Muslims, people like Tommy Robinson, Katie Hopkins, Majid Nawaz, Tariq Fatah, Ayan Hersey Ali, Richard Dawkins, Sam Harris, all these people are making money out of Islamophobia. All of them. They have made hundreds of thousands of pounds and dollars by selling their bakwas, their bullshit. Sorry to use French. French is a beautiful language, by the way. So it's a figure of speech, right? As they say. So they have made money out of spreading hate against Muslims, right? So what they do is, when Muslims come and talk Islam to the public, to the masses, they say, oh, he's doing taqiyya. He's actually allowed to lie about his faith. No, it's not. We the Muslims are not allowed to lie about faith. Yeah. There is a small group called Shia, they have this practice. We are not those people. We are the 90% of the Muslim world. We are not allowed to lie to people about our faith. We cannot lie. Our sources are clear. The Quran is there, and the Hadith, Bukhari and Muslim and the other 4 books are there. Go and read them. Every single word in these books and texts, we stand by them. We stand by every single word in there. We don't compromise on them, we don't disown it. We stand by every single word in these texts. So where is taqiyya? What I'm saying is what my religion teaches me, that we cherish virtue where it exists. Britain is a great country, it's a great place to be. People of Britain, people of England have given refuge to hundreds of thousands of people, of course for their benefit as well. It's reciprocal. The relationship is reciprocal. It's not one-sided. Britain benefited from immigrants and immigrants benefited from Britain. So it's a two-sided...
would collapse without the Muslim doctors.
Look, after the Second World War, if Labour did not come from the Caribbean or from Pakistan or from India...
what they're doing with the Windrush generation, we think that's disgusting.
Yes. So I think enough said today. Thank you so much for listening, guys. And nice talking to you, Bakar, again. I hope we can, agree on certain things.
Mufti's cool, by the way. Mufti's cool.
Cool to you. Thank you. Whose mic is this?
Thanks, good. Nice talk.
Content over everything. From your man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to...
It's really just a law against us.
But no, it's not. You need to tell him it isn't a law against
There's CCTV in this park, yeah? I can guarantee you every week you can see Christians coming and singing their praises and worshiping Jesus. We don't want them arrested. This thing is not about worshiping congregation. It's just to get the Muslims to stop them praying.
It's an embarrassment.
And we wouldn't be happy if Christians, we don't want you to stop us faith and also stop Christians. Like as a Christian,
He wants to
a
make it
Muslim,
about
I don't
Muslims.
believe you should worship another man. That's my religion.
It's
Yeah?
anybody.
And I believe in Jesus as a prophet. I want you to say to you,